All right, welcome everyone. Kevin LaRocca here with Binary Pro Strategies. Going to do a recap here for this last week, ending on September 27th of 2019. Actually, a little bit above average for the week. My first trade out of the gate. Now, what this means is that at the end of the day, I go back and I look at the very first trade that I made for that particular session. I do trade morning session, which I'm trading between 8 and 3 p.m. Central Time, and I trade in the evenings between 7 and 9 p.m. Central Time. And what I do is go back and I look at my very first trade to see, was my first trade a winning trade or a losing trade? What I do now is I tend to put a little bit more size on my very first trade, because if, let's say that, if it's a win, I'm that much closer to my objective. If it's a loss, that gives me the rest of the session to make up for it. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and my results are showing that I'm having a little bit higher days, profitable days. So I'm going to continue to trade like that. But what this is this shows the whether the very first trade in that session was actually a winner or a loser. This was a little bit low, actually 70%. I'm typically somewhere between 80 and 90%. I've had weeks where it's 100%. So a little bit low, but still ended up having a little bit above average for my weekly gains. The other thing that I want you to see here is what I call the win rate on the naked trades. Now, I'll show you the charts in just a minute. But what that means is that if I'm just trading, and there's two particular patterns that I trade, I personally trade a lot of. I do have a total of 5 different patterns. It's a personal choice which ones you want to take. I like these particular patterns because they tend to happen more often, so I like to have a little bit more trading opportunity. So I trade just 2 of the particular patterns. And what this is this is the naked win rate. So when I say naked trading, that means I'm not taking into 2 factors that are really important. That is EOM, which is something I developed, kind of lets you know what the how well the flow of the market is moving, right? Because we want good market flow. And the other one is pair correlation. If you've seen the fundamental video, you know these certain pairs have higher correlations than other pairs. So if, say, the Aussie's going up, I would expect the euro to go up. And that's the same with the pound has its correlations and the yen has its correlations. That's the other thing that I take into consideration. But in this case, when I'm looking at naked trading, I'm not taking those 2 factors into consideration. I'm just saying, okay, it's a sell, I sell it. It's a buy, I buy it. And that's what I'm looking at without using those 2 additional factors factored into it. So still, the percentages are very high, as you can see here. Now, morning session, this is for the Aussie only. This is for the evening session because I trade both. And you can see we're still hitting, above 70%, sometimes 80%. What you don't see here is the nights. A lot of the nights, some of these pairs are hitting at 100%, and they're getting 10 or 12 trades. So, these patterns are very strong. I tend to, as you can see here, I tend to do a little bit more on an hourly basis, or I'd say per trade basis, at night than I do in the morning. Still, mornings can be very good. But, you're looking at, an 8-hour period over here, and you're looking at a 2-hour period over here, and you can see the results. So if only time that you can trade is at night, that's actually an advantage than sitting here during the day and trading during the day. Night trading is a very good time. And when I say night, I'm talking about any time after, for me, I'm Central Time, 7 p.m. Central, and it goes all the way till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, which I don't trade, but markets are really good up until that point. And then what happens is that the spread between the strike prices widens again, and it's a little bit harder to get better premium. That's kind of why in the mornings we can have good results in the mornings, but the spreads on the premium, or the strike spreads are a little bit wider than you see as we move into the afternoon during the day, and of course into the evening. So anyhow, that's what these results show. Once again, a really nice week. I'm happy with the above average results. What I'm expecting is that to continue. A lot of stuff in the markets right now, a lot of news, a lot of good volatility, but more importantly, a lot of really good nice flow and good continuation. So when that happens, I certainly want to be there and definitely take advantage of it. So let's just look at some of the charts. What I'm going to do this week is we're going to look at the euros, and we'll look at the euro US for the whole week. And this is just this is day session. Yeah, this is, or is this? Yeah, this is day session. No, this is actually night session. So this is night session for Sunday because there is no day. So this is night session for Sunday. And at night, I mean, and the other thing is I don't get a lot of trades. I mean, on average per pair, I get maybe 4 or 5 trades. This one had 1, 2, 3. This had 5. Oh, this had 6. This had 6 trades. Sunday night only had 1 loss. Once again, Sundays are always really good, but any time during the week at night is usually really good. So what these show once again is this is one particular pattern that I trade. This is just one of them. I trade a total of 2 of them. This is naked trading, saying that if it was going to be a buy, I show an up arrow. If it was a short, I show a down blue arrow. And then whether the entry was a winner or a loss. You can see in this night, 1 loss out of the 6 trades. So those are really good stats. And that's, once again, not taken into consideration pair correlation or EOM. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at Monday morning. All right, here's the chart for, once again, the Euro US. That's what I'm going to be showing this week, just the Euro US. This is Monday morning. All the naked trade signals for this particular pair. I usually trade several of them. As a new student, I always recommend only trading 1 pair. Get to know its personality. There's also, it's important that by staying with 1 pair, you can increase your probabilities of success. And the reason for that is because I kind of know what the how many losses I'm going to have in a single row based on the way that this thing works. It's actually even unusual to have 2 losses in a row. But typically, if I have 2 losses in a row, I want to go ahead and I want to put a little bit of size on the next short. And I usually do my size on shorts. I don't do them on buys. Very important, and there is a reason and a logic behind that. And that's going to be true whether you're trading stocks, futures, I don't care what you're trading. Shorts tend to be a much better signal. But doesn't mean you can't make money. You can see there's a lot of buys in here that did very well. But for me, adding size, I'm going to only want to do it on short side. Okay. So that is Monday's. Nice, a lot of nice wins. Good win ratio for the euro. And let's go ahead and let's see what the action looks like for Tuesday. All right, here's a chart of Tuesday morning's action for the Euro US 5-minute chart based on the 2 patterns that I trade. Didn't have a whole lot of wins this particular day, but since I usually trade the Aussie along with this, the Aussie was hitting close to 80%. This one, I think it did like 50%, which is extremely low for the Euro. Usually when that happens, it tells me it's going to come back up. It's kind of like a bell-shaped curve. When it gets out of its where it should be, it will come back in the sync, and will basically the signals will get back in the sync with the market. And this was definitely out of sync, so I would expect this to come back in as we move later into the week. But nonetheless, Tuesday actually had a pretty decent day on Tuesday morning. Trading all 4 of them. But if this is the one that you're trading, and this is all that you're trading, which is one of my favorites, what I'll do is if I start to run into, if I see more than 3 losses in a row, then what I do is I just stop trading, because that's pretty unusual. That means it's really out of sync. 1 or 2 losses in a row, no big deal. But then what I'll do is if I have there was a series here, let me see here. We had 3 losses in a row over here. Typically what I'll do is I'll look to put on size on that next short, okay, which I think I did right there. So once again, there's things that you can do if you start to have a series of losses. I do show you some strategies to use to back off and come back in to recoup those losses. And one of the strategies that I use is I like to short when I get a particular signal. So that's kind of what I did this day. But nonetheless, accuracy-wise, wasn't very accurate on Tuesday for the euro. But overall, Tuesday was a good day because I was also trading the the yen, and I was also trading the Aussie. So let's take a peek now. Let's see how euro did on Wednesday. All right, let's take a look at Wednesday's action. Once again, much better, as to be expected, as it comes back, gets back into sync with the market. You can see we had a lot more wins. Never had 3 losses in a row, so I was able to trade this all day using size on my shorts. If it weren't taking a short, that's going to be based on, of course, looking at my EOM and looking at the correlations between the different pairs when I'm going to go in and put some size on. When I say size can be anything more than one contract. So I typically do a 1-3 ratio. I can do very well just using a 1-3 ratio, and that's typically what I do. So you don't have to get crazy with size. I don't recommend you get crazy with size. And you don't always want to trade size. You always want to start your days trading onesies, unless you're trading that very first trade of the day. Right now, I'm putting on a little bit of size on the very first trade of the day. But once again, it's not something I recommend to my students. Just trade onesies, build up your account on onesies, which you can do, and then when you have some strong signals, then come in and put maybe 2 on or 3, and that's what's really going to get your account growing. Okay, you're not going to have stellar returns just trading onesies. It doesn't work that way in binaries. So a big component is knowing how to add size, and I work with you and hopefully help to show you how to add size. There is no magic to adding size. There's no formula, but there are things that you can look at that give you much high probabilities that when you do add size, that you're going to have a winning trade. All right. So anyway, that is Wednesday's euro. Let's see if we did. And what did that? I think Wednesday was running about. Let's see. It's picking up. It was in the 60s, so I know somewhere around 65%. So it's starting to pick up the accuracy. Now this is just for this one trading session. It has nothing to do with the night session. Okay, I know the night session in this particular pair was 75%, which is really good, and it didn't have many trades. So anyhow, let's take a look at Thursday Euro's action, and let's see if these percentages don't start increasing. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. Look at Thursday. Thursday for the euro, morning session only. 93%. I mean, that's crazy high. And once again, these are all naked, not taking into consideration anything else. And this is important because, you want something that, even if you're just buying and selling, not considering anything else, you want to see some sort of accuracy in there to show that it's in sync with the market. And it was definitely in sync. And I didn't even have to look at EOM today. I do, of course, but even if you didn't, you still had a 93% win rate just trading the euro. So you can see how it comes back, and typically when it comes back strong, and that's kind of what it did today. So once again, a really nice day. This night, what did it do at night? The night session came in at 85%, still very good. So night was still very good, percentage-wise. So once again, it's coming back. This is typically where I expect the euro to be on a daily basis, somewhere between that 75 to 85% range when I consider all the trades. Okay. All right, man. Let's take a look at Fridays, which typically can be kind of tough. But recently, they've been really good days. But let's see how euro did on Friday. Okay, so here's Friday's action. Once again, as expected, 92% win rate just on this one pair. What a day. Overall, this whole day was super, super strong on all of the currency pairs. But the euro, once again, came back strong. 92% winning rate. Once again, only put on more than a single contract on my shorts, and ended up having not only a good day, but a great week overall. The total accuracy across the board, when I take all 4 pairs, I trade mainly 4 pairs. There's 3 that I trade very little of. They are not included in the stats, but and I don't include them because I do all this manually. These arrows are drawn manually in the chat room. These stats are done manually, so it's a time-consuming process. So trying to do that in trade, if I get overwhelmed, I'm going to mess up my own personal trading, and I don't want to do that. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, the overall run rate just on those 4 main pairs, 81%. I mean, that's crazy accurate considering you're not using anything else besides just looking at the naked signals. So very, very strong. Okay, so a couple things that are going to be coming out here for existing members. I'm finally wrapping up the PAP pattern, the phase adaptive pattern. I think you guys are going to like this. In fact, it ranks just under the crystal ball. I mean, that's how good it really is. You know, crystal ball is to me probably one of the most accurate tools that I have, and it's kind of uncanny the way it works. But more importantly, that it works well is it's based on some truisms about the market. So that's what you want to look at. You want to look at truisms. The other thing, I'm going to be coming out with a video that I think is going to be eye-opening for a lot of people, particularly those that like to design their own strategy or own method. I think everybody looks at things. They look at the market. They don't look at the market correctly. Okay, they're approaching the market incorrectly when it comes to designing a strategy. And just to give you a little bit of hint, if you want to design a strategy that's going to continue, all right, to be profitable, and it's not going to fall apart, as any indicator system will do, it will eventually fall apart. You want to look for patterns, and most importantly, you want to find truisms in the market, things where what the market will not do, not what the market does. Don't be looking for saying, okay, if this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, right? That's predicting. We don't want to predict. But there are things in the market, okay, in price action. There are things that price action will not do. Use that as a basis. Go in and find things that the market will not do. I'll go over a couple of those things in my video. That's going to be released to everybody. You don't have to be a subscriber to see that video. The PAP pattern obviously is just going to be strictly for the members. Right now, there is no additional fee for the PAP pattern. I may change that eventually and include that maybe with just a crystal ball and not include it in the core strategy. But right now, I am going to include it in the core strategy, and then at some time I'm going to take it out and put it with the crystal ball, because it's so strong, it's so good that it's underpriced for me to put it with the core strategy. But nonetheless, this next video coming out on how to design a strategy, what to look for, approach the markets by looking at what the market does not do. And there are some things that the markets do not do. Once you know what the market doesn't do, you can design a real good strategy around that. Because if you know something that's not going to happen, then you can work around that. Because when something does not happen, then it has pretty high probability, right? Something that doesn't happen has a real high probability of not happening if it never happens. So that's what you want to be looking at. You want to look at the markets for the things that it does not do. So that's a little hint, a little teaser until this next video comes out. Anyway, in the meantime, if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up. Any comments, questions, leave them below, or you can always go to my website, binaryprostrategies.com, and you can also get a hold of me that way. There is a phone number there. If you feel like you need to call me, give me a shout. If I don't answer, it just means I'm trading or I'm busy. I'll call you back, as soon as I get a minute to answer your questions. And also, you can follow me on Instagram, Pro Strategies, where these charts that you're seeing, these charts, I do update and publish these charts on a daily basis with the stats for that particular day and the profits, overall profits for that particular day, which you don't see here. I show you accumulation. But if you want to track it on a daily basis, go to Instagram and join Pro Strategies, and every night you'll get updated on all 4 charts, and you'll be able to see the stats and how I did for the day. And those are all the results that you see that I personally trade in the chat room, because all these trades that you see here that I talk about are trades that I make. I call them, like students see me trading them. I call them in advance. And so anyway, it's a real good way to kind of get a feel for what I do, like joining the chat room with nothing else. It'll help you better identify the patterns, be able to pick my brain on some of the things that I don't go over in the videos, because I can't go over everything. I've been doing this for 38 years now, and there's a lot of information that's stored in my brain here that I haven't, that hasn't quite come out yet. And it comes out when I'm trading. I share those little tidbits. So anyway, that's it. I will be back next week with my next update. Also, be sure to go to my website, get on my mailing list, and you'll also get an email of these updates as well with these charts, if you like to do it that way as well. Anyway, everybody have a great trading week. I'm looking forward to this coming week. I'll be here again Sunday night with my students, and I wish everybody the best, and we will see you next week. Okay, so if you're interested in learning exactly how I do this, I do offer 2 different packages. And the way this is set up is that if you want to learn about the core strategy package, now that isn't going to include all the videos. You're going to get full access to all my training videos and educational material. You're going to get full disclosure of the core strategy, which I use a lot, particularly the single and double continuation patterns. The majority of all the results that you see on my daily returns is going to be based off of those 2 patterns, okay? I also do trade the delta pattern, and I also will show you how to use the nibble strategy. The nibble strategy is designed to catch very short-term trades, and I'll show you exactly how to use that in combination with some of the other core patterns. Also, how to transition from demo to a live account. This is very important. That video is also included. As you know, it's also available on YouTube for free. But how to transition from a demo to a live account is very important. Something you need to watch. Don't just jump in and start trading in a live account. You want to learn the strategy, and you want to make sure that you're profitable. I'd say at least 9 out of every 10 days. And then when you get ready to transition to a live account, please watch the video, because there's some really good steps on how to make that transition. Also, when you purchase the package, you're going to get a 1-hour personal training with me. So you and I will do a one-on-one, and I'll make sure that you fully understand everything and how it works. Now, this package is designed to pretty much purchase and go if you'd wish. You can purchase, watch everything, and go out and trade on your own. Now, if you want to learn about the core strategy, plus the crystal ball, basically you're getting everything in here. You're getting the core strategy, but you're also going to get the you're going to learn the crystal ball method. That's something that's available. That's a video that is not available online. That's something you and I will once again sit down and go through and make sure you fully understand it. Now, if you decide that you want to go just with the core strategy and learn the crystal ball at some point, I'll just charge you the difference between the core strategy price and then the full price that includes the crystal ball. So I'll just charge you the difference between the 2. Okay, so these are designed to basically purchase, learn them, and then go and do your own trading and so forth. Now, if you wish to join me live, as I trade live every day, which I highly suggest, because what I do is I also, not only do I share my charts, but I show you where I'm getting in, where I'm getting out, what strike, what price, why I'm doing it, what I'm seeing in the market. It's well worth it, and that's only going to be $50, okay? So if you want to, once again, if you just want to learn these on your own, you can purchase the package and move on. If you want to learn the package and then also join my live trading room, chat room, then that's just $50 a month, and that's $50 reoccurring as long as you want to stay. There's no time limit, so if you want to stay 2 months, 3 months, a year, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just $50 a month, okay? So if you're interested, you want to go to binaryprostrategies.com, and in there under Join Now, you're click on that little button. It'll pop up. You'll see this, and you can go ahead and purchase one of these 2 packages, and or if you're a reoccurring member, you can go ahead and join the monthly if you're not already part of the chat room. So Any questions, as always, you can always get a hold of me by going to the website. My phone number's there, email address, and so forth. So if you like to do that, feel free to give me a call. I'll be glad to answer any of your questions before you make a decision. But everything I teach is fully disclosed. I'm not holding anything back. I am here to educate. I'm not a signal provider. That doesn't do you any good by me just giving you my signals. I'm here to teach you how I see the signals, and I want you to learn them as well and be able to identify them as well as I do. And then, this way you are free to trade on your own. You don't need me around all the time. But for those that like to stay in the chat room and trade with us live every day, that's always an option as well. So that's it. Thanks once again for watching my video, and you'll have a great day.